called Chunty.
Greetings, welcome to CHUNTCAST number 39. Yes, I've actually made it 2 weeks in a row now. I've been quite busy, but here we are. We're going to do this again. If you are totally unaware, I'm your host, Uncle Chunt, talking head from down under, budding comic book creator, and just genuine man in the middle of everything. I mean, all kinds of shit. Before we begin, as always, if you would like to consider joining the Junk Corps at the below socials that you see on screen, and just follow me on all the stuff and subscribe and all that junk. Cool. So we got that out of the way. We've got a few topics on the list today. We've got the Ask Chunt for today. Army of the Dead. I watched that last night. We've got some Henry Cavill news and some Black Adam tease from Dwayne Johnson. So a few kind of quick things to go through. Yeah, look, Army of the Dead, I'm going to go into more in depth than that in a moment, but man, you got to watch it. I'm just going to start with that. You got to watch it. It's quite excellent. Anyway, before we move forward, hope you're all doing well. Strap in. This might just be a bit of a shorter one today because the news has been a bit sparse again on what I actually want to talk about. There's not really much stuff happening the last couple of weeks, but today there's a few things that I thought interest me and I wanted to talk about it, and that's what this show is all about. Cool. So, straight away, Ask Chunt. Let's hit right into it. Cool. So here we are. Now this comes from Rangatology again. How you going, champ? Thanks for another question submission. Appreciate the support as always. And he asks, it's quite timely. It's kind of why I chose this one. I've had this in the pipeline for a while. So he says, my son turns 7 mid-May and is starting to get into gaming. Outside of Lego and Mario Kart style games, what would you recommend for a youngster? Platform mostly not an issue. Xbox, PlayStation and Switch. Would like to hear your thoughts. All right. So straight up, I mean, if he's starting with Mario, I mean, most people start with Mario if you're my age, but I think most kids can still start with Mario. If it's just Mario Kart, maybe try the other Mario games. I know that sounds like a bit of an easy answer, but half the reason I've got a Switch is just for the Mario games. You know, like I'm making a point to go get those because they're the only kind of Nintendo games that I really want to play. Every other third-party stuff that's on Xbox, I'll play it there. But Lego games, fantastic. I recommend the DC and Marvel ones, of course. They're a lot of fun. I play them as a 30... What am I? 30... Am I 35 this year? I don't know how old I am. Anyway, doesn't really matter. So I recommend those. But what I can really steer you towards is a good place to start. You say it's an Xbox. You have an Xbox as an option, which has a no-brainer option right in front of you that you can use. And we're just going to have a quick look at this Xbox Game Pass. I know that might sound like a cheap answer, but hear me out. It's the gateway. it's the gateway to your next favorite game. That's what they're saying, and it's very true. I found some great games that I would never have played otherwise through this service, and that's why it's there, and that's why I'm recommending it. All right, so you get Xbox Game Pass, and you see some of the games that are scrolling across there, but EA Play is included, so whatever is in EA's catalog that they're offering as far as their EA Play Access games, like they're not always brand new, but within 6 months you can guarantee that the latest EA game is going to be on that, and that's included in Game Pass Ultimate. So I'm just going to jump straight into the console-based games for Xbox. So what kind of games would a 7-year-old be interested in? Well, it just depends on how he is and how they are and what's their maturity like and how their brain works and what are they into. But let's just go through a couple. Psychonauts, it's an older game for the original Xbox, but I can recommend that one straight up. Knockout City, I'm not familiar with, but it's a free-to-play kind of game. It's one of those, Fortnite, just think of that. Secret Neighbor might be a bit too creepy, I think, for the age. Dragon Quest Builders 2 is on here. That's very popular out there. I mean, you've got the FIFA games. I don't know if he's in the soccer. Let's keep scrolling through. This updates all the time, so I'm not always familiar what's actually on here. Final Fantasy 15, love that game. Might be a bit too difficult for the age bracket. Definitely avoid Alien Isolation. Astroneer, I think that's how you say it. That could be quite good. Banjo-Kazooie, they're all there. I highly recommend those games. They are fantastic. Batman Arkham Knight might be a bit too dark. Well, Battletoads was a lot of fun. I clocked that in under 3 hours. Really enjoyed that. You can play it on easy, I think, so it's a good time. You can spend an afternoon on it and you're done, and you can play it with your son. It's quite a good, enjoyable beat 'em up. Bleeding Edge wasn't too bad. Yeah, it's just another Fortnite type of game. Just trying to cruise through some of this. Crackdown 3, I had a lot of fun with that. They got a lot of hate, but I had a lot of fun with that game. Cyber Shadow is fantastic, but it's very difficult. Day of the Tentacle, love that. Avoid Dante's Inferno, it's very much too mature. What else we got? I mean, you can scroll through this for yourself, but I want to give you some of my recommendations that are on offer. I mean, Dragon Quest, what's that, 11? Yes, 11. That's actually quite good, apparently, from what I hear. I'm not a big JRPG fan, but people that I know that have played that swear by that. They say it's very good. I don't think there's much of an age bracket that you need to get into. I mean, the combat might be a bit complicated, but it's not like you need to be a mature person to play it. Fable, a lot of fun. Fable Anniversary, very good. Start with that. If not, just jump into Fable 2. Very fun. It's all ages, I guess. I mean, there are some mature subject matter, but it's done in like a fairy tale way, so you're not going to be too much gated out of it. I don't know what these feeding frenzies are. A lot of sports games. Like I said, the EA Play stuff comes into play. Five Nights at Freddy's, don't know if he's into that. Don't know if you let your kid play that, but I mean, they're all there. Forza Horizon 4, yes. It's not Mario Kart, but it's a racing game and it's fantastic. Fusion Frenzy's a lot of fun. It's a multiplayer type, like Mario Party-esque type game. Probably avoid Gears, might be a bit too brutal. Goat Simulator, I know my nieces were playing that constantly. They enjoyed it. It is what it is. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't understand the appeal, but whatever. Guacamelee, that was a lot of fun. That's this one here. All the Halos, up to you whether your kid plays that or not, but Halo, man, highly recommend it if you want like a gateway first-person shooter. Haven, that's probably... I mean, it's a nice tale about two people in love and stranded on an alien planet, and you know there are some RPG aspects to it, but it's quite simple gameplay. Very simple story. I quite enjoyed it. You don't really hear too many people talking about it, but I quite enjoyed it. Man, Game Pass. Cameo is excellent. I recommend that one. I really do. Probably before Banjo-Kazooie. I really did have a good time with that when that came out back in the day. Your Kingdom Hearts are all here. I think they're almost about to leave, so if they want to play it, get in now before they... I think they're ending either midway or at the end of May. Don't hold me to that, but I'm sure the info's out there somewhere. Sports, don't really care. Mass Effect's probably too mature. But man, you can see there's a whole other page here. Let's just go through it. We're going through it. Minecraft Dungeons, really recommend that. It has a bit of a steep difficulty curve towards the end, but man, I really had a good time with that. And I don't play Minecraft, but Minecraft Dungeons, I really had a good time. It's like Diablo, but Minecraft. You know, it's quite accessible and very easy to play, pick up and play. What else have we got here? Super Lucky's Tale, that's a pretty friendly platformer if you want something else. It's a competent platformer. That's all I'm going to say about it. Sports. No Man's Skies. I mean, do you want him to get into a space simulator that's kind of resource management? It is a bit of a time sink, and you really have to... It might be a bit too much. I don't know what your son's like. Kids mature at different stages, so I can't really say. Ori and the Blind Forest is excellent. Might be a bit too difficult, but is excellent. Yeah, avoid that. Perfect Dark Zero. Yeah, I mean, play Halo if you're going to play a shooter, if anything. I don't know if he's in the Plants vs Zombies, but you can see they're all there. What else have we got? Rare Replay. That's actually a very good go-to. A lot of these games are kind of recommended at the moment are in Rare Replay, and it's got like Viva Pinata and all that kind of stuff in there. So maybe just go straight to that first. It comes with a lot of games in it. And like Banjo-Kazooie and Battletoads and Cameo and Perfect Dark and you know all that kind of stuff are in there. And this is just Game Pass. Like Xbox has a lot of free-to-play games available to you within the store, but they're varying levels of maturity and difficulty. But yeah, Sea of Thieves, that's another good one. That's pretty all ages. Yeah, look, it just goes on, man. Like, it goes on and on. But you get what I'm saying. Just go straight to Game Pass. It's got something for you, and it's got something for your son as well. If you can't find something to play, Falconeer, that's actually very good. That's this one here, the Falconeer. That's great. The Tourist, that's a lot of fun. It's very easy to pick up and play. Yakuza, I love Yakuza, but it's probably not for your son. Unravel, that's a great all ages platformer. Very puzzle, like you need to there's puzzles in there that can get very frustrating because they're not obvious. Even for me, I was like, what the hell am I doing on some of these? But it's very endearing and charming. Yeah, Viva Pinatas, they're there. I highly recommend those. Like, if you think of Viva Pinata as like a kind of Animal Crossing-ish, you're growing a garden for these Viva Pinata like animals and creatures and stuff like that. It's one of those garden simulator type, pet simulator type things. Worms, yeah. Yakuza, frig yeah. Ukuleles, Impossible Lair. It's a fantastic platformer, but it gets very difficult. I wish I could recommend that to your son, but I mean, it's not the easiest platformer, and it knows what it is. And Zoo Tycoon. I don't know if your kid's into that, but whatever. But I mean, these are all included in Game Pass Ultimate, man. And just pick something, and you never know. I mean, Skate 3's on there. I don't know if you're in skating and whatnot, but that's the great thing about Game Pass is there's gonna be something for you that you've never played before, or that you might not have played before because you would have had to buy it. But you can see there's over 200 games in here that I've just gone through on 2 different pages, full of stuff that you can just try, and if it doesn't turn out, no big deal. It's just $15 for the month, and you can have your pick at all these games and just see what happens. My Time at Porsche, that's another great one. That's very much Animal Crossing, but different. Harvest Moon type thing. Yeah, it's just one of those kind of games. So get into it, man. There's just some recommendations off the top of my brain. Roblox is on there. Like, my nieces are playing Roblox. It's free on Xbox, I think. It's not on Game Pass, but it's free to play, so you don't need to worry about that. All the kids are playing that game. Anyway, hopefully some of those suggestions reached out or spoke to you, or maybe clicked with what your son is into. But again, it's just great if you can get your son over there and having a go at something. He might find and play something that he might not have ever imagined, or that you might not even thought of putting before him to try. So let me know. I'm curious to see what games you think. If you do see this video, let me know how you go and what games you ended up choosing. I'm actually quite interested to know. Cool. So that's the Ask Chunt for the day. I know it took a bit longer on that one, but I wanted to kind of go through everything in Game Pass and just point out some stuff. So thanks for holding in there with me. But yeah, let's just get straight into the main topic, number 1 for today. And as I was discussing, it's about Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead. Man, this is Zack Snyder's first movie that he's done post like superhero like capes and stuff. Just a little context behind this movie. He's actually had this in the pipeline or in his mind and written out somewhere way back in the Dawn of the Dead days, or around 300, like he's had this idea for like over a decade. So how this came to be. So we all know the story. If you've followed my channel or anything to do with the space, with the comic book movie genre, and Zack Snyder himself and social media, you have an idea of what happened to him with Warner Brothers and the fallout there with the Zack Snyder's Justice League release and all that kind of stuff. So what this represents, this movie is Netflix has picked up Zack Snyder as a talent, and they sat down at a table and they're like, so what have you got? And what do you want to do? And basically just pick something. And he's like, well, I had this idea. They were going through ideas that Zach's had over the years, and Zach was telling him about this Army of the Dead movie, which he described it as like a zombie apocalypse movie crossed with a bank heist movie where there's like $200 million or something stuck in the middle of Las Vegas, and it's just a massive like super zombie city. Like it's just walled off, and everybody in there is a zombie because of an outbreak, and it's been contained there. And a team wants to go in, or this super rich guy or whatever hires this team to go in and try and recover the money. And like all hell breaks loose, that kind of story. That's kind of how he put it to Netflix, and like, oh, okay, cool, why don't we do that? And he's like, oh, all right, cool. Like, it just sounds like, to him, it was like a good opportunity just to do something fun, you know, and something new. It's not someone else's property, it's his. He wrote the story treatment, he wrote the story for it, he directed it, like it's his thing. And Netflix have enjoyed it so much that they've commissioned like a prequel that's been made. Zach's not directing that one, but a prequel's been made based on one of the characters, the Safecracker character in this movie, and it's obviously set before this one. And also Netflix is doing a animated miniseries based on this property as well. So Netflix are all in on Zack Snyder at the moment and this Army of the Dead property. So, which is great, and it's good to see. Like, I'm a fan of Zack Snyder, not just because he did Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Justice League, and like, I just thoroughly enjoy his interpretation and vision of the DC characters. I'm sad to see him go, but Warner Brothers can go jump off a very far cliff. But I'm happy to see Zack Snyder back doing something else, like doing something new. Like, I've always enjoyed his work, and I went into this with some pretty high anticipation as to like, all right, I just want to see what he can do outside of Superman, you know, and all that kind of stuff that he's been doing for the last however long with Watchmen and 300 and, you know, Man of Steel, and I want to see him go do something else, and we got it. This goes right back to his somewhat of his feature film roots with Dawn of the Dead, the remake that he did way back when. And this isn't tied to that at all. It just has Of the Dead in it, that in the title. That's all. So don't think this is a sequel to that or anything. It's his original thing. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm not a big zombie fan. I don't really like horror movies or zombies or whatever. Like, I'm not that kind of a film enthusiast in that kind of regard. But I really did enjoy my time with this movie. It's a lot of fun. It's actually got surprisingly more heart than I thought it would. But man, it clicks at a pace. It's nearly 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and 28 minutes or something. Quote me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't feel like it. It clicks at a good rapid pace, and you're not aware of how much time has passed while you're watching it. But yeah, there are some parts that could have been cut out. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but some of the lull parts, or they can remove one character completely that just, she's the reason. I might have just spoiled, just saying it's a she. Anyway, this one character is the reason that so many people are affected. I'm choosing my words carefully here, but if you remove her, then a lot of problems go away. Anyway, I'm really trying to dance around that. But regardless, back to like the main cast. I'll just note two. So we've got Dave Bautista. This is like his first movie that is really kind of like bigger movie. He's done his own solo led movies that he's done as the main man. But this is his first kind of big budget, like big feature kind of thing that it's just him in the front, like in the main role. Like it's him. And I think he's really earned it. I've enjoyed watching Dave Bautista's evolution, so to speak, as an actor. You know, everybody wrote him off, and you know, you could probably understand why. He comes from a wrestling background, and you know, he is what he is. But he's really earned his stripes, I think, in a lot of ways. And in a lot of interviews that I've read over the years, he's been really trying to get roles that have more meat on the bone, and he wants to be taken seriously. Like, he wants to get more dramatic roles, and he understands that he's a big guy, you know, he's a tough looking fella, and he might get typecasted into a lot of roles, but he wants more meaty stuff. And I admire that. Like, as a guy, like, I'm nowhere near him, but I mean, I'm a big guy, I've got a beard and whatever else, and I'm told that, you know, I look like a badass, but I'm a super nice guy. So like, if I were to be in an acting field, I'd probably get typecast and that kind of stuff as well. So in that regard, I kind of relate. But yeah, like, I remember seeing Blade Runner, the sequel, the one that came out recently, 20 something, 40, whatever. And he was in that briefly, but even in that short part, I was like, oh wow, like he's actually, he's giving it in that scene. I was like, wow, that's interesting. I'd like to see him do more of that. And you kind of get more of it in this movie. And it was really great to see, really refreshing. And I kind of bought it. You know, Dwayne Johnson, he's had his opportunities to do that, and I never bought it. You know, he can't do it. You know, sorry to say, like, he's improved a lot as an actor, but he does what he does, and that's all he really does or needs to do. You know, he's never tried to really push the envelope. When it looks like he's trying to emote, I don't buy it. But with Batista, it seems a bit more sincere in a lot of ways. I mean, maybe he builds it from his history. I know he's got a bit of a history, if you know about him, if you read into him or whatever. He's had a bit of an interesting history. So I don't know if he pulls from that at all, but anyway, it was really good to see, and I want to see him in more. I do enjoy Dave Bautista, I really do. More than like, I didn't really buy him or enjoyed him too much when he was wrestling. I'm not a big wrestling fan anyway, but ever since he left and started doing movies, it's like, yeah, I'm rooting for this guy. I don't know why, but I just was, and it's good to see him get more roles. Anyway, enough about that. I really did enjoy his part in it, and it's a big part of why I liked it, but there's a lot of other stuff around in the movie as to why I enjoyed it. There's one other character. Their name is Tig Notaro. I think that's how you say the name. And she was entirely placed into this movie through green screen and CG, because there was another actor, a comedian bloke. His name escapes me. I couldn't bother reading him up because he's a bit of a scumbag, but he got booted out of the project, and they hired Tig Notaro to replace his character's role. But what it meant was that Zach had to go and reshoot everything with that new actress and insert them into every scene or every shot that the previous actor was in, and it's seamless. You wouldn't really realize it. I knew it going in, and I could tell in some aspects, but even then it was like, wow, that they kind of really nailed it. I mean, to a point where it's not like you really see them in the same screen with another actor, yeah, but just the way it's done and spliced in and everything, and the tools that Zach's using for this movie, it's pretty seamless. Excuse me. So yeah, that was but they played their role very, very, very well and very funny. I think they stood out in the movie in the best ways possible. It wasn't like annoying or anything like that. I enjoyed the sense of humor of the character, but yeah, I think that was another standout of the film. The super zombies, that's a new concept. Like a lot of other zombie movies have been either the same thing, like slow moving or whatever the usual shit, but this one is like, it's super zombies from like government-led stuff, and it's a really bad thing that's happening here. And like, they're tribal, they're organized, they're not just mindless standard zombies. So that was an interesting new take that I hadn't seen before. So excuse me, I've got a bit of a tickly throat, not well at the moment. It's not COVID. But yeah, that was really cool. Like, there's a apex or alpha zombie that's kind of leading the whole Las Vegas, I guess, kingdom, they call it. So that was pretty cool. Really cool concept and very, very new. I hadn't seen it before, and I was surprised it hasn't been done before. But there's one other thing, two other things actually, that I want to touch on that aren't really spoiling anything too much. But there's a scene in the film that was like a real what does that mean moment. Like, what an odd place to put this kind of a conversation. And I don't know if I should bring it up here, but they're talking about, oh shit, I keep forgetting that happens whenever I leave it on for too long. Oh man, I'm really not well. The time loops theory. Now they do talk about, I can't spoil. Okay, I'm just going to mention it and dancing around it as much as I can. But there's something in the movie that everyone kind of asks themselves in the film as to, like, what they ask questions, but then they kind of understand what's happening without it being answered, and they can do things that they didn't think they could do before. And there's like this time loop theory that is a conversation that's made in the film. And afterwards, you're left thinking, well, what does that mean? Like, oh man, excuse me. Hope that didn't go right into your ears. But yeah, God, I should really just stop. I'm not well, but hang on a minute. Just mute my microphone for that one. But I'm just dedicated to get something to you today. I almost didn't, but I was like, nah, I don't want to miss another week. But yeah, anyway. When you watch that, let me know what you think about it, because it's very interesting. And I thought, wow, did that just change the movie or what? it left me thinking about that scene no matter what happened afterwards. And even after the movie, I was like, so what about that scene? You'll know it when you see it, because it stops the film completely to ask the question specifically. So if you have any ideas after that, please tell me. I would like to have a conversation. But then there's like other things where you blink and you miss it. Like there's one zombie gets shot and it has like a blue blinking eye when it falls to the ground, and what looks like a metallic face, like when some of its skin gets ripped off by being shot in the face, like it's a cyborg zombie. It's right there. It's right in front of you. You see the zombie get shot and fall to the ground, and you see the half the face with the blue eye, like a light. And it just goes, and no one talks about it, and you're just left thinking, what the hell was that? Did I just see that correctly? And it just moves on. Nobody talks about it. And I haven't gone online to look into it yet, because I didn't want to spoil anything for myself before I got into this to talk about it, just so I can have my own thoughts about it. But I will be going checking that out after this, after I upload. But if you notice that let me know, because it can't just be me. And I have seen a few other people online, like just here and there. I've seen the GIF or the photo being thrown around online, so it's not just me that saw that. So I'm very interested to look into it online more, to just know more about it. But yeah, look, there's a few other things I can talk about that would actually spoil the movie for you, but I don't want to. Just watch it. It's a lot of fun. If it's a genre that doesn't interest me too much, I watched it just because it's a Zack Snyder film. I'm a fan of his. I'm trying to build his back catalog of Blu-rays, like DVDs or whatever. I want his movies on my shelf. Like I really love his work, so I just want to support what he does, even if I don't like it. But this, I wasn't sure I was going to, but I had a really good time with it. It's on Netflix. Check it out. And come back here and let me know what you think, or just hit me up on socials and tell me there. Anyway, I've ranted on long about that movie, but it's worth talking about because it's a new movie. It's new. It's not like an old IP that's being remade. It's a new thing, a new movie, a new IP, and it's very exciting because we just get remakes and shit all the time. Anyway, speaking of remakes, we'll segue. You guys are probably aware of this, but I wanted to talk about it because it's got my boy Henry in it. Oh my god. God, I feel like absolute garbage this afternoon. It wouldn't have anything to do with the wild turkey and the 3 pints of beer or anything this afternoon, Christopher, would it? No. Anyway, so Henry Cavill, he's in the news again, and he's up for potentially the role of the Highlander. You know, the old Christopher Lambert Highlander movie, which is pretty exciting. I mean, this Highlander reboot's been spoken about for years now, and it just never happens and never gains traction at all. But like, this isn't a done deal yet. I did look into this a little bit more before I started just to make sure I didn't miss any update, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong by the time I upload this. But Deadline reporting that Henry Cavill to star in Lionsgate's Highlander reboot from Chad Stahelski, if that's how you say his name. I mean, God, good on him, man. Just good on him. Henry Cavill, like, before I get on reading this, like, good on Henry. He's been dicked around so much by Warner Brothers. It's crazy. Like, he has the same manager as Dwayne Johnson, and he keeps getting dicked around by Warner Brothers to the point where I've been saying for a while now, just move on, Henry. Like, I'd love to see you come back as Superman, but I just can't stand Warner Brothers anymore. Like, they can't organize themselves out of anything. They've got some of the richest IP on the planet, and they can't make anything because for some stupid reason there's too many executives that have an ego that want to leave their mark on a property rather than making good films, you know, and building relationships with their talent. What the hell? And their talent pool and director pool have almost entirely vacated Warner Brothers with all the abuse allegations and stuff that's going around, and the disrespecting of the talent, and, you know, the directors abusing their power and all that kind of stuff against their cast, and, you know, making threats against their cast and stuff. And it's all bad news. You know, it's just been very, very bad news, and you don't see the usual mainstays of Warner Brothers talent staying with them. They're going off and doing other things with other studios now, and that's bad. So Henry, like, if you have to, you just go friggin' do it. And this is good news to me. And I'm rooting for Henry. Like, I do hear some things about him that he might be a bit difficult to work with, and I've heard that from a few different people. But I mean, what does that mean? Like, what does that really mean? You know, someone can just have a bad day and, oh, he's difficult to work with. Anyway, good on you, Henry. I just want you to do more, man. I enjoy you. Not because you're just a stunning specimen of a man, but like, your interviews, I just really like how you present yourself. Like, you're a gentleman, and it's very rare to see these days. And Yeah, some of the videos you put up on social media about motivational quotes are real cheesy and cringy, but whatever, man. Like, you do what you need to do. Like, you're almost James Bond, and you're potentially still going to be a James Bond. You've almost been Superman twice, and then you were Superman. You're Sherlock Holmes in that Enola Holmes movies, those ones that are coming out, and you're Geralt from The Witcher. And now you're potentially going to be the new Highlander. I mean, whatever, Superman's great. I love Superman, and you're my Superman. You're the best Superman I think ever. But man, if you have other bigger roles to do, or other roles that you want to do that are of equal kind of standing as far as fan bases, man, just go do it. You're one of us. You're a nerd. I want to see you succeed. Yeah, go for gold. Anyway, so yeah, the exclusive saying that Henry Cavill has his eyes on the title. Basically, it's not like he's got it yet, but he's in talks for one of the leads in the Lionsgate reboot for Highlander, and John Wick director. That'll be epic, man. Highlander with the John Wick director. Holy mackerel, that'll be fantastic. But yeah, this is the first time this movie's like been pushed along since 1986. That's crazy. I can't believe it. There are other Highlander movies, and I think there was a TV series at some point, but the original one back in 1986 with Christopher Lambert, Sean Connery, and Clancy Brown as immortal beings hunting down one another and collecting more power, because every time they kill one, the other one gets stronger. There can only be one was the catchphrase for 4 sequels and 3 television series. There you go. I kind of jumped the gun. Anyway, so no one knows what the plot is for this next one. Or like what role Henry Cavill will be playing. It's potentially going to be a brand new character in the universe, or is it going to be one from a previous project? The reboot has been gestating for a while, with everyone from Ryan Reynolds, yeah, that's right, and Justin Lin involved at some point. But sources say these latest pieces coming together put this film into position to get into production. For Cavill, it gets him yet another franchise with a large fan base after starring in roles in major tentpoles like Man of Steel, Mission Impossible Fallout. He's currently filming second season of Netflix's The Witcher, following its record-breaking first season. He's also set to return to Sherlock Holmes in the sequel to Netflix's Enola Holmes, with Millie Bobby Brown returning, blah, blah, blah. Cavill is repped by WME and the Garcia companies. Yeah, so that's Dwayne Johnson's representative. So yeah, kind of just solidified what I was saying. Like, he's in demand, and Warner Brothers, like, if you're just wanting to squander him as a talent, I mean, obviously you've got Lionsgate and Netflix. They're sure wanting what Henry Cavill's got, and I don't blame him at all. Like, he's very popular. Whatever you think of him, he's very popular online, not just with the women, but the guys like him too. And he really hits that nerd demographic as well, as like, holy crap, he's like the apex nerd, where he can look like that and still play World of Warcraft and build his own PC. Like, he's just like, there's nothing to hate there. And guys want to be him. Like, man, I would love to be Henry Cavill for a day. I'm not gonna lie, that would be freaking amazing. But look, I want to see him succeed. I want to see him do more. I enjoy what he does. It's not just because I'm fangirling out. I actually do enjoy him as an actor, and I'd like to see him do more. He's come a long way since the early days, so I'm up for more. Yeah. So right, talking back more like capes and superheroes, just to wrap up the episode with. We've got something I thought it was worth discussing and showing, because I have an issue with how Dwayne Johnson's been talking about Black Adam. So let's just take a quick look at this. Right, so we've got our first little teaser of what he's going to look like, potentially. It's a dark image, but you can see his boots. I mean, they look like Black Adam's boots. No worries. Cool. And he's got his hood on. Fantastic. I guarantee you, as soon as I upload this, a new teaser image will come out the next day, and this video will be totally irrelevant. But anyway, so The Rock says, if you know the comic book mythology, then you know where his pain comes from. His rage. His wife and children killed, his people brutally enslaved. He's not a superhero, but rather a champion of the poor and beaten down of the people. And he is the most unstoppable force in the DC universe. Absolutely arguable. I could argue on that. I don't know what you're saying, Dwayne. But anyway, Black Adam, rage, against the dying of the light, blah, blah, blah. Wanted to give you guys a little Black Adam update and share this image with you from set. Production is coming along great, and I'm very pleased with the movie we're making. Of course you're going to say that. Black Adam's mythology, ethics, and actions no doubt will create a new paradigm in the world of superheroes, villains, and anti-heroes. The power will shift, the line will blur from a slave to a god. Yeah, alright, look, he's been saying like the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is going to change or whatever. I don't know where all this comes from. I mean, yeah, look, against Superman's always written as strong as he needs to be. Black Adam isn't. You know, as far as like a comic book aspect goes, Superman is always as powerful as he needs to be with the story that's being told. And he always overcomes, somehow, you know. He's fought Black Adam before, and he's won. So it's like, well, that's already kind of in canon as like, well, that's not going to change any power hierarchy. But what does this mean? If you look at the meta of it, does this mean like none of the stuff in the previous DC films matters now? Is this like an actual a different Earth or something? Is this a reboot, or is this a new DC universe reboot or something where Superman's not in consideration here? I mean, Dwayne's been saying for years he wants to go toe to toe with Superman in a movie, and he wants Henry Cavill Superman. I don't know if that's ever going to happen now, but who knows? I just don't like how he's messaging this movie, because it's really talking big. You know, it's really talking big. That's what gets me concerned. It's like, yeah, look, it could be bad. You know, it's. I mean, Dwayne Johnson's movies are always kind of like they're just there. Like they're good, but you don't really remember them too much. You know, you don't really go, oh man, remember that one? Not really. Like that's just my point of view. And he always talks up every movie he's in, and every movie he's in, I'm like, well, that really wasn't it. And he talked it up a lot, and it didn't really meet that expectation. And I have the same worry with this one. You know, he's been building it up, and he's like, yeah, I've been wanting to play this role for 10 years, you know, rah, rah. And now I'm finally going to do it, and I'm going to make you proud, all this kind of shit. It's really close and important to me, and, you know, all this blah, blah, blah. But he's really talking up the Black Adam thing to be the biggest, best thing, the most powerful thing. And I mean, as a nerd, yeah, maybe. I mean, one of Superman's weaknesses is magic, and Black Adam is like all magic based powers and stuff like Shazam. So I mean, there is that going for it. But this is what annoys me with the whole Warner Brothers thing, is they've just messed up the whole DC universe. I mean, if they just got their hands out of it and just let these directors build these worlds, we probably could have had like a Black Adam versus Superman movie, or have a cameo with Superman coming in to kind of, I don't know, intervene against Black Adam in something, and he can get a fight. But that's never going to happen now, because Warner Brothers, AT&T, and now Discovery, like all this merger shit, this keeps happening, and contracts always in flux, and as the executives getting fired and let go, and like there's no one there to kind of hold the pieces together. I mean, we're lucky we're getting any DC stuff out at all, really. And I'm past the point of caring, but I just wanted to touch on this because, yeah, cool, it's the first kind of look that we're really getting at the costume, or at what it's going to look like in the movie. But just the way he talks about it, he's a very good hype man, and like we all know that Dwayne does hype up everything he does. Everything he does is always the best thing ever, and he can say that. I mean, proof is in the pudding. He can say that. He's one of the very few people in the world that can get away with doing that, because he's right. You know, everything he does is a success almost. You know, so whatever. Anyway, it's a bit of a kind of pessimistic outlook on that, but just as a DC Comics fan, I'm very withdrawn. You know, I don't really care too much anymore, and a bit cynical about this and what happens. But let me know what you think. Is there something that I'm not seeing here? Like, are you excited for this, and why? I would like to know why. Change my mind, get me excited on it. That's kind of why I'm hoping to put this out there, and someone can kind of tell me otherwise. Anyway, look, that's the last thing I really wanted to talk about today. Like I said, bit of a quick one to burn through. So it's not long. It's going to be about a 40-minute episode, this one, so keep it short today. And as I said, I'm not really feeling too well, so I'm flat out getting this one out as it is. So thanks for holding in there with me and my coughing and being gross and stuff. I really appreciate your time and your consideration and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully next week we'll have more energy and some more exciting news to talk about for episode 40. But until then, I mean, look after yourselves, and follow all my socials and crap, and we'll do this whole thing.
And may the power protect you.
Till all are one. Bumblebee tuna.
Yes, indeed. Cool. Look after yourselves. I'll see you next week. And, I don't know, hug your mum and dad, just do that. I mean, why wouldn't you?
subscribe.